It's so easy to watch videos like this and to get sucked into it and go, I wish it was that easy for me. I wish homemaking was that simple. I wish I could do it that gracefully and joyfully even. And I want to share this video of me going throughout my day, not just to share what I'm up to, but to also share a bit of my heart and how homemaking can actually be very difficult. Now, don't get me wrong, homemaking for me is extremely satisfying. I love having a goal. I love getting there. I love even just creating the goal in general with the hopes that I'll get there. I love productivity. I love purpose. I really love purpose. And homemaking gives me so much of this. But in the same breath, homemaking can be exhausting. It can be disappointing. It can be frustrating. And it can be emotionally draining as well. So if you're in that boat and you're feeling it, I feel it too. I hope this video is encouraging, but also maybe relatable for you. So I'm having, firstly, something that's been making my days really hard. I'm having wrist problems. It's actually called mother's wrist. And it's from picking up kids often and picking them up between your thumb and pointer finger. So I've been having to do exercise and be careful of how I lift my kids and lift other items. But even in me being careful, I'm experiencing a lot of pain. And these are my hands. I use them. So they're quite a needed tool in my homemaking. So with them not doing so well, some of my days have been difficult. I do have some bread going. It's just after 9. It's going to have about 8 hours to ferment. And this is actually my quick burger bun recipe. But what I'm doing is actually going to make it into a loaf. So while that's all going in my KBS bread machine, I'm going to do some morning time with the kids. Morning time is a beautiful way to begin the homeschool day. In morning time, we cover poetry, scripture, hymn memorization, as well as geography. We'll do some games, maybe music and art enrichment as well. We will sometimes have some special snacks and then get started with our day. So homeschooling is amazing, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's something I was raised in, and my husband as well, and I love that I can do it with my own kids. But it is a constant juggle. I'm going back and forth between homeschool and laundry, homeschool and baking, homeschool and phone calls, homeschool and work, homeschool and chores, homeschool and errands. And this is me sneezing. And it can be hard to stay focused, because something about homeschool is that as the teacher, you do have to really have a focus on what you are teaching your kids. And as soon as you lose focus, so do your own kids. And then you're kind of like, oh no. So there are some days where I know I need to keep my mind just towards homeschool. I need to be gracious and I need to put my time there because that's what matters. Then there's some days where I can feel that I can stretch myself a bit and get some extra things done. So that's one thing. Day to day looks so different. Some days are like today where I'm tackling a bunch of stuff. I have to make jam. I had some cookies actually fermenting and I'm just gonna start baking them. This is strawberry jam. I just do the refrigerator quick canning method. My video is linked down below for that. I use frozen berries, which is awesome. You can buy big organic bags of it at Costco. And part of the homeschool that I like to do is have my kids involved with cooking. This is a great way to teach math and even just like basic skills. But while that is setting on the stove, I'm back to homeschool and getting things organized and prepared. These are days that I really love. It's productive. I get a ton done. I sleep so well, but I can be emotionally pulled and exhausted. And certain times during the day, I feel overstimulated, or I am overwhelmed, or my mind is just fuzzy. So these are the days that I try to take breaks. I do try to slow down here and there. This is something I have actually written on a Post-it note that I want to share with you. It was something during a hard day that I thought of and I wrote down, and I come back to it. But I basically wrote, the work I do for my family is never wasted, and the rest I take for myself is always needed. So even though I know that my family needs things, there are certain things that just I can offer them, and I like that. I enjoy that I am the main provider of certain things. There is, in kind of the same breath, the need for rest. And we read about that in the Bible too. Even Jesus had to get away to rest and be with his Father. So if you as a mama are going, and you're not taking rest, I would encourage you to take rest. And I know it's not easy, and you might want to just run to the comment section and go, but I have this many kids, or a needy child, or whatever. How do I take rest? And the way that I take rest is, firstly, I show my kids what rest looks like so they can partake in it as well. And I also know that there are certain times of the day that I can't rest. I cannot rest if everyone is awake. I can attempt some sort of a sit down or quiet time if I have 1 or 2 kids napping. My mornings and my evenings are really my time to rest before the kids wake up and after they go to sleep. For lunch here, I'm just doing some sourdough biscuits and a plate of fruit, just some grapes, apples. The kids will pick at that. I had some strawberry jam I poured on top. My bread is all done in my bread machine. If you want to simplify bread, this is the way to do it, and I will link below my video where I show you guys how I do my bread in my bread machine and some really yummy recipes that you can do overnight using sourdough. What I'm going to do is just kind of pull this against the counter, form a nice roll or ball, cover it with a wet cloth, and then tackle some of my dishes. So I have 5 kids, and I got my cycle back maybe a handful of months ago, and I was so thankful to see it because I'm now able to track basically my life. So if you didn't know, a woman's period isn't just the period coming and going, but it is linked to an entire cycle that really depicts how your month will be, energy-wise, sleep-wise, drive-wise, and everything in between. I can't believe how the more I know about my cycle, the better I prepare myself for what's ahead, and the better I thrive, even on those hard days. So depending where I am on in my cycle depends on also what my energy will be like, and also how well I will sleep during the night, and how comfortable I may be during the day in order to be on my feet. So if you don't know your cycle, I would encourage you to do so. For me, I just simply track it. I don't do anything fancy. I don't do my temperature. That's something I'm actually kind of looking forward to. But as for now, I am just tracking it as it comes. I am almost 30, and I've had a cycle, a proper cycle, I would say, for over 15 years. So I'm at this point where I feel like I'm also just extra figuring myself out since having my 5th baby. Once the kids are all done eating, I am sitting on the counter and I'm having some leftover sesame noodles that I made with green onion and sesame seeds. My jam is cooled. I'm gonna put those lids on, stick it in the fridge. This is gonna be nice to have over the next week or so. We go through jam like crazy. We're a huge toast family, so we take advantage of toppings such as jam, honey, peanut butter. I'm taking another second here to have a cookie, make myself a cup of coffee. I love a midday cup of coffee. There's just something fantastic about it. I have some homemade almond creamer that I am frothing. I'm adding my Bloom pumpkin spice mix to this. It's vegan, caffeine-free, and it has real pumpkin in it. I can link that down below, and my code if you're interested in superfood latte mixes. I really like this one, and frothing it with my milk. They also have a reishi cocoa, they have matcha, they have a sea salt caramel. tons of stuff that pairs beautifully with your everyday coffee. So my coffee doesn't change much from day to day. Kieran in the morning will usually make us some sort of a coffee, which is usually a mocha pot. And then later in the day, I will do a drip. This is something that just gives me a little bit of energy, and it's also something I can enjoy that is just my own, and I took time to make it for myself. I'm going back to my bread. I thought I would just do a traditional shaped loaf, and then I thought maybe I would actually swirl it for no other reason than it feels therapeutic to me. On hard days, the hardest thing I can do is really pushing myself to do something more than I have to. But for some reason, the mental game in me just has to do it. So I decided to twist this loaf of bread. I'm going to enjoy this with our dinner. I'm going to make a tomato, green pepper, cast iron skillet with eggs cracked. It's kind of a breakfast dish, but because of the love and care it takes to make it, I prefer to do this at dinner time. Another way in which homemaking can be difficult is when your home is difficult. Just in your own head, you wish for more space. You wish for a newer home. You wish for a brand new kitchen. You wish you had a farm. This is something I struggle with, okay? I do not have a farm. We have zero land where we live. And we are unable to have animals. So where I live is beautiful and it's great. We've been blessed with this kitchen as well. But I do sometimes get caught up in desiring to live differently, to have more outdoor space, to maybe have a garden, homestead a little bit more. Sometimes I can get caught up in that. And when I get caught up in that, I look around my home and I feel discontentment because that's not what I have. And my heart is not set for my home and me benefiting my home, but almost sulking in the idea that it's not what I want it to be. So even though I don't have a farm and I don't have animals and there's no such thing as a garden where I live, I can still use my time here and now to prepare myself for if that time comes. So much of the time we can get caught up in, oh, I don't have this, and we're caught up in that when we can actually look forward and go, I don't have this now, but how can I prepare my heart or my family or myself for if it were to ever come? So I really enjoy spending time in this kitchen and learning new techniques, ways of making food, using food in ways that are healthy and fun and delicious. These things will help me later if the Lord wills for us to have more of a homestead. But for now, I'm using what I have. The Lord has given me what He trusts me with. So if this is what you trust me with, Lord, I want to use it well. Anyway, if you're curious, in this cast iron, I have garlic, red, onion, tomato, green pepper. I fried that up. I added salt, pepper, a little bit of olive oil, sun-dried tomatoes as well. Fried those till they're nice and soft. I really take my time. And then I'm going to add in some eggs. I kind of push some of that mixture aside, make some wells for my eggs to sit in. These are just some nice local eggs. I'm gonna put some soft goat cheese on top because I really enjoy a good goat cheese. I'm gonna put that into the oven and I'm gonna make some extra scrambled eggs for the kids. They really enjoy scrambled eggs and I enjoy how easy they are to make. I also have still a baby. He's not even 1 yet. And scrambled eggs are great because not only are they good for him, but they are easy for him to pick up on his own. For my bread, you kind of see in the back there, I've buttered it. I'm gonna bake it for a little bit as well. And I also threw the bacon in the oven to cook that up until it's nice and crispy. I have been honestly struggling with some eye pain. This comes from late night working on a screen. That's what I'm doing right now. And I always notice when I do that, the next morning, I'm just not feeling too hot. And sometimes I'll have to rub some peppermint oil on my head, and it makes a world of difference. But whenever I spend too much time on a screen late at night, I'll struggle with eye aches, and that can make homemaking hard. Kieran also knows my wrist problem, so when I need him, he's right there and willing to help. I may be very stubborn and want to do things on my own, but sometimes the Lord will give me heavy amounts of wrist pain to tell me that Kieran is there and he's helpful, and if I need his help, he's more than willing to assist me. So Kieran is taking out that bacon, and this is what we have. I like taking the egg and such, putting it onto my bread, and it is just absolutely divine. I love being able to make a meal and then sit down and hang out with the family and watch as they nourish themselves, and we can all just enjoy slowing down for the rest of the evening. Dinner is that time that is kind of our alert to slow down and relax and kind of do it all again tomorrow. I hope this video was encouraging to you. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.